Hello everybody, this is JD, Child of Phoenix. It's January 14th, kind of end of the day today. I've been sick as shit. Like sick. There's some nasty stuff going around right now. It's pretty much bedridden Saturday, Sunday, most of Monday. Couldn't stand sitting still anymore, so I had to get my ass up and get moving. Plus, work was falling behind. You know how reality is. You could be sick, but reality doesn't care about that. You gotta keep moving. Anyway, this is gonna be my first video that I'm putting on here. My lady actually got the YouTube channel put up a while back, and due to time, I just haven't had the time to make any videos for this channel. So the whole purpose of this channel is to kind of help you get a better bearing on what is really going on in reality. The majority of people stay tuned to basically the news, the TV. The TV tells you what you need to know, and that's it. They don't call it programming for absolutely nothing. As of right now, we have a lot of issues going on with China, Iran, Russia, not so much. They've been pretty quiet. North Korea is still an issue. These are all things that are outside of our immediate spectrum of sight, so to say. We are not there, feet on the ground, having the ability to see what's really going on, you know? So, now, looking around us, that's where we can start. The problem is with the majority of the public, they've been already mentally designed to only see war as one thing. By all means, ask individuals, hey, you know, when I say war, what do you think? They say, well, you know, guns going off, bombs, explosion, jets, tanks, you know, bombs, this and that. That is one type of war. Now, another type of war, which they've actually been putting into the public stream, is economic war. And economic war is very serious. A lot of times it can be more detrimental than an actual military war. By that, military war, things get blown up, this and that, that and this, but once it's over, things proceed on. Things get repaired, things like that. There's jobs. Economic war is a whole nother beast. Economic war hits the entire populace. And in an economic war, food is no longer transported. Resources such as food, things that you take for granted, medicines, things like that, don't get transported. If they do get transported, it's very expensive. Along with economic war, there's other things that may happen. Inflation is another one. Inflation is very dangerous. Most people don't even know what that word means. Venezuela got hit with inflation so bad that their people would actually have to weigh the money in order to purchase food. There was no more counting it, they would weigh it. So like 10 pounds of $1 bills would buy you a loaf of bread. Inflation's another major threat. Now, these are things that could be caused from sources that are outside of this country. But a lot of the problems are coming from sources that are inside this country. For example, a lot of these people that you have that are on the welfare system, a lot of you remember back in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, during the recession, here in the state of Arizona, we actually doubled the number of people on food stamps once we were out of the recession. So how could that be? At the peak of the recession, we were at, let's say, 100,000, and then at the end of the recession, it was like 216,000 people or something like that, and I don't know the exact number, but it over doubled. Okay, so how is it the jobs came back and all that other stuff, but yet our welfare class doubled? A lot of these individuals that are on this welfare system, even though they have jobs, they still stay on the welfare. They're doing a lot of fraudulent activity. None of it's being investigated. Nothing. So, you look at all these different problems, and that's just one tip of the iceberg. You look at all these problems, and if they're not being fixed, then that means they're there for a purpose. Now, what I'm trying to get you guys to do is to not focus on the problem so much, but look at the purpose of why it's happening. For example, out where I live at, I lived out here when I was a child. Actually, my grandparents even grew up out here in this area. And I have seen this area completely demolished. Back when I was a kid, we used to take our dirt bikes, go hunting and fishing down at the river. Nobody bother us. Grandparents could let the kids go out. Yeah, go down to the river, go have fun, Now, just recently, there's a raceway over here by my area. They had a shootout in front of the raceway where supposedly, approximately 10 people got hit. All right. The sheriff stopped by Circle K, which is right down the street, and talked to one of the guys there at Circle K, which I know very well, and I got this information from him. And the sheriff stopped by and said, hey, did you see anybody drop a body off over here? And he goes, well, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, we went down there, there's blood everywhere, and one of the side-by-sides that took off had somebody leaking out so bad they were just dumping gallons of blood. There's got to be a body around here somewhere. Well, the thing is not one person that I know of, or the guy at Circle K, or the sheriff heard of, that went to the hospital for any type of gun wounds. So, make matters worse, 2 days later, they had another shootout down there. A few days after that, there were over 400 side-by-sides down there with only 2 sheriffs trying to monitor everything that was going on. These were individuals not from this country. All right, I'll let you do the math on where they were from. They were driving by the sheriff, flipping them off, raising their flags everywhere, basically saying, "Hey, this is ours now." So, anybody that this offends, that that's offended by me saying this, I could really give 2 shits about that. It is what it is. If you think I'm a liar, by all means, get up off your ass and go look for yourself. We're dealing with a mentality now of individuals, and it's bleeding over to the citizens of our country. Where, for example, down Avondale Boulevard, we have a school there. And by all means, if you guys think I'm lying, any time of day, take your happy ass and drive through, and you tell me I'm a liar. So I drive through the school zone. I've learned to stay away from it because every single person just breezes through the school zone with no care in the world. And the funny thing is the same people that are breezing through these school zones, which is almost every single freaking person, it's their kids that go to these schools. So, with that in mind, just get a grasp of the mentality. These are people that don't care about the school zones where their own children go to school, and will just speed right through them with no problems. I got multiple videos of it, and when I figure out how to put those videos on here so you guys can see it for yourselves, I'll be more than happy to show it to you. I even tried to slow down a person one time that was doing about 50 through a 25 mile an hour. Put my emergency blinkers on and got in the middle, which probably isn't the best thing to do, slowed him down, and ended up getting a gun waved at me. So now we have groups of individuals that are here in this country for freebies, an easier way of life, okay? Mainly because they don't have the balls to stand up in their own country and fix their own country, so they'd rather just go and be parasitic and leech off somebody else. That's basically what it is. They don't want to put the work forward to make their place better, so they'd rather come to some other person's place and bring their mentality and their culture of that to that place and make that their place. Anybody that you know that is not for, closing down the border or anything like that, anybody that's pro-illegal, just ask them. Be like, give me your address. And they go, why? Be like, well, I'm going to go to the DES office, and I'm going to go to the Home Depots, and I'm going to put that all the illegal immigrants can go to your house and stay and eat and use your medical insurance. When you put it like that, they don't want to do that because then it affects them directly. That's another thing that we need to look at. People nowadays do not care about anything unless it affects them directly. You could have a family where a guy goes, works 8 hours a day, comes home, starts drinking beer, his kids are playing video games or on iPads, all right? His next door neighbor could get robbed. Or a guy 2 houses down can get robbed, his family's shot, all right? The most he's going to do is walk outside and say, oh, well, that sucks, I'm going to go back inside. Not even caring, well, what happened? What was the cause of this? Nobody cares anymore. And I hate to say it, but it's not going to get better. There is no freaking way it's going to get better. I honestly do not know what to do about what is coming. And what is coming is not good. For example, you have all these people on food stamps, all right? So let's say the jobs get cut. Recession, boom, jobs get cut. Inflation, boom, food stamps get cut. Now you're going to have these people that were pumping out kids left and right that don't have a job, don't have food stamp cards. Kids are hungry. What do you think they're going to do? The Democrats already know what they're going to do. Why do you think they're trying to take your guns from you? Second of all, with all the people trying to take other people's gun rights and stuff like that, and I'm not even going to say Democrats, I'm just going to say people in general that don't want guns around and da-da-da-da-da. First and foremost, probably never had to defend their own life. Probably never even been in a fist fight, but yet they got a great grasp on reality. They'll tell you that. How is it we're getting ready to possibly go to war with with a country, China, that has a force large enough to invade us on our own country, but yet you're trying to take guns away from the people? Don't you think that's a bit odd? Just a bit odd? And in regards to the Trumpster, I mean, a lot of the stuff he speaks on I absolutely love because it's old school stuff. But the problem is, guys, is once he's out, we're fucked. We are so fucked. We might get a middle of the road person, but guaranteed the person after him, we're screwed. Absolutely screwed. Yeah, Biden wanting to let in another 2 million people. Are you shitting me? Oh, a nation of 350 million, we can afford another 2 million people. Yeah, out of those 350 million, 75 million of them to 100 million are ones that have already came over here. And with those 200 million you bring over, in 4 years' time, 5 years' time, are going to be 2.5 million or more. Because you guys are giving them food stamps and letting them breed like crazy. And to make matters worse, they're taking the jobs that our children had. Look at fast food. Look at the ages of fast food places when fast food first started back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, all right? You know why the wages at fast food places sucked? Because they were designed for children that still lived at home with their mommy and daddy. They had a roof over their head. They had somebody paying the bills. It was to teach them a work ethic. Now, you go in, you see 30, 35, 40-year-old people that barely speak our language working at these fast food places. That's their career. That's the highest they're going to achieve. You know why? Because they can work there and they can get their food stamps and they can live just as well as you and I do. And then they bump the minimum wage up, which raises all the pricing on the food and stuff, which means less people shop there. Which is kind of odd if you think about it, because everybody's wanting to push into automation. And wouldn't you think that the best way to push companies into automation is to jack the price of their workers through the roof, so it's a no contest? Why am I going to pay 3 people a total of $45 an hour when I don't have to pay this machine anything? I just have to pay $17,000 for this machine, and it's good for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And I have one person running it. So there's a lot of things that are coming that are going to be ugly. And now, due to the people basically invading Europe, the people invading the United States, there are no more safe havens to run to. Western civilization is being killed. That's what the war is really on, is Western civilization. You know, we're currently having all these problems with these countries that we gave their technology to them. They didn't create it. They didn't create anything. All their technology came from us, from Western civilization. Cars, airplanes, electricity, plumbing, asphalt, concrete, plastic, name it. It came from us. Phones. Didn't come from them. So we gave these people enough technology to just turn around and spit in our face. And now, that's what information has turned into. Information, now if you give it to somebody, even if it's something that could help save their kids, they'll turn around and they'll spit in your face over it. You try to educate somebody on something that's going on, they call you names, they belittle you, they talk trash to you, and they just why? So that way they don't have to look into it. So they can be lazy and go about their business. We are past the point of return. This country will never be the same again. I mean, you have people like Bernie Sanders right now, one of his guys, saying that if Trump gets reelected, cities are going to burn. Are you shitting me? I'm pretty sure that's a terroristic threat. You're telling me that if we nominate a president that you don't like, you're going to have people torch fucking cities? That sounds like a terroristic fucking threat. But will anything happen to them? Nope. Which, once again, tells you that it's being put there for a purpose. Now, what's the purpose? So, I'm sorry, this is the first video. It's a little long. I kind of bounced around on all sorts of stuff. I just want to get your gears churning a little bit to kind of really get you thinking on what's going on out there. There are some really good, solid people out there. All different types of solid people. And the sad part is, right now, how our society's set up, we don't promote those people. All they promote are the lowlifes. People that want to just mooch. Feel sorry for these people. Oh, look, there's a poor guy. Da da da. I don't feel sorry for anybody. I grew up poor as shit as a kid. Sometimes I go 3 or 4 days without eating. When I was 15 years old, I took a look at myself in the mirror and I was so skinny I could see my ribs through my chest. So I don't want to hear it. Get up off your ass and go find a real job and stop mooching off of our support system for our people, for when they lose their jobs, or a lady has to get out of an abusive relationship and run away with her kids and get some food stamps and stuff like that and try to help her out. Stop exhausting that, because once that's gone, where are they going to turn to? Well, if you guys can, leave some comments. If there's something you'd like me to cover, by all means, put it in the comments. This is going to be my first video, so it might be a little bumpy here in the beginning, but I'll get everything ironed out. I hope you all have a nice evening, and God bless.